I need to tell you about a major storm system that is developing right now and is going to impact a large portion of the United States during the Valentine's Day week. This is not going to be a typical winter storm. This is a complex system that is going to bring multiple hazards to different regions, and the impacts are going to be widespread and significant. We are looking at severe weather and tornadoes across the South, flooding rainfall across the central states, potential winter weather in the Ohio Valley and the Northeast. And this is all happening at the same time. On top of that, we have two additional winter storm systems that are going to follow later next week, affecting the northern plains, the Midwest, and the Great Lakes. And the West Coast is going to see an atmospheric river event followed by another winter storm. This is an incredibly active weather pattern, and it is going to affect tens of millions of people across the country. I have been monitoring the evolution of this setup for several days, and the models are now coming into better agreement on the overall timeline and the specific threats. What I am going to break down for you is the Valentine's Day storm system, the severe weather threat in the south, the flooding concerns, the winter weather potential in the east, and the additional systems that are coming next week. Let me start with the Valentine's Day storm system, which is the most immediate threat. Right now, we have a strong area of low pressure that is beginning to develop over the southern plains. This system is going to intensify rapidly over the next 24 to 36 hours as it taps into abundant moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. By Thursday, Valentine's Day, this storm is going to be a powerful and well-organized system stretching from Texas all the way to the East Coast. The impacts from this system are going to vary dramatically depending on where you are located. If you are in the south, you are going to be dealing with severe thunderstorms and the potential for tornadoes. If you are in the central states, you are going to be dealing with very heavy rainfall and flooding. And if you are in the Ohio Valley or the Northeast, you could be dealing with a mix of rain, sleet, and snow. The severe weather threat is going to be the most significant concern for the southern United States, and this threat is going to begin late Wednesday and continue through Thursday and into Friday morning. What we are going to see is a classic severe weather setup. Warm, moist, and very unstable air is going to surge northward out of the Gulf of Mexico ahead of this storm system. At the same time, we are going to have strong wind shear in the atmosphere, which is the change in wind speed and direction with height. When you combine unstable air with strong wind shear, you get an environment that is very favorable for rotating thunderstorms and tornadoes. The Storm Prediction Center has already highlighted a large area from eastern Texas to the Florida Panhandle as being at risk for severe weather on Thursday, and I expect that risk area to be expanded and possibly upgraded as we get closer to the event. The areas at greatest risk for severe weather on Thursday are going to be across Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and the western Florida Panhandle. The severe weather threat is going to begin Wednesday night across eastern Texas and Louisiana, and then it is going to shift eastward into Mississippi and Alabama on Thursday. By Thursday afternoon and evening, the threat is going to extend into the Florida Panhandle and possibly into southern Georgia. The main threats are going to be tornadoes, and some of these tornadoes could be strong and long track. We are also going to see the potential for very large hail, possibly golf ball size or larger in some storms, and damaging straight-line winds that could reach 70 miles per hour or higher. This is a dangerous setup, and if you live in the South, you need to be taking this threat very seriously. One of the things that makes this particular severe weather event especially concerning is the timing. A significant portion of the severe weather is going to occur during the overnight hours Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and then again Thursday evening into Thursday night. Nocturnal tornadoes are particularly dangerous because people are asleep and may not hear warnings in time to take shelter. If you live in an area that is at risk for severe weather, you need to have multiple ways to receive warnings. Do not rely on just one method. Have a weather radio, have weather apps on your phone with alerts enabled, and make sure those alerts are set to wake you up if a warning is issued overnight. Know where your safe place is in your home. The safest place is an interior room on the lowest floor, away from windows. A bathroom, a closet, or a hallway can work. Get in that safe place as soon as a tornado warning is issued, and stay there until the warning expires. While the South deals with severe weather, the central United States is going to be dealing with very heavy rainfall and significant flooding concerns. This Valentine's Day storm system is going to tap into a fire hose of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, and it is going to wring out that moisture as it lifts northward. Rainfall totals over the next 3 to 4 days are going to be substantial. We are looking at widespread 2 to 4 inches of rain across much of Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and southern Ohio. Some areas, particularly where thunderstorms train over the same locations repeatedly, could see 5 to 7 inches of rain, and isolated locations could see even higher amounts. That kind of rainfall in a short period of time is going to lead to significant flooding problems. Flash flooding is going to be a major concern, especially in urban areas and areas with poor drainage. When you get several inches of rain in just a few hours, the ground cannot absorb it fast enough, and water starts running off into streets, parking lots, and low-lying areas. Small creeks and streams are going to rise very quickly, and some could overflow their banks. River flooding is also going to become a concern as all of that rainwater makes its way into larger rivers. Some rivers could reach minor or moderate flood stage, and a few could potentially reach major flood stage if the rainfall totals verify on the higher end of the forecast range. If you live in an area that is prone to flooding, you need to know your flood risk, and you need to be prepared to move to higher ground if flooding occurs. Never drive through flooded roadways. It only takes a few inches of moving water to sweep a vehicle off the road. Turn around, do not drown. Now, as this storm system moves through the central United States and begins to interact with colder air to the north, we are going to see the potential for winter weather across the Ohio Valley and possibly into parts of the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. This is where the forecast gets more complicated, and there is still significant uncertainty about exactly what is going to happen. The key question is going to be the track of the low-pressure system and how much cold air is available. Right now, it looks like the storm system is going to track from the southern plains northeastward across the Ohio Valley and into the Great Lakes. As it does that, it is going to pull colder air down from the north on the backside of the system. The areas most likely to see winter weather are going to be across the Ohio Valley, including southern Ohio, West Virginia, western Pennsylvania, and possibly extending into western Maryland and northern Virginia. The timing looks like Thursday night into Friday for most of these areas. The big question is going to be what type of precipitation falls. In the areas closest to the low-pressure track, temperatures are probably going to be too warm for snow, and we are going to see mostly rain. But on the northern and western fringes of the system, where colder air is able to wrap in, we could see a transition from rain to a mix of sleet and snow, and possibly to all snow for a period of time before the system moves out. Right now, the models are showing a range of possibilities for snow accumulation. Some models are showing just a coating to an inch or two in the higher elevations. Other models are showing the potential for 3 to 6 inches across parts of the Ohio Valley and the interior Mid-Atlantic. There is even an outside chance that if the storm tracks a bit farther south and we get more cold air involved, some areas could see 6 to 10 inches. This is something we are going to have to watch very closely over the next 24 to 48 hours as the models come into better agreement. If you live in the Ohio Valley or the interior Northeast, you need to be monitoring the forecast closely because the difference between rain, a rain-snow mix, and all snow is going to depend on very small changes in the storm track and the temperature profile. One thing I am fairly confident about is that any snow that does fall is probably not going to last very long. Behind this storm system, we are going to see temperatures moderate fairly quickly, and any snow that accumulates is likely to start melting within a day or two. So this is not going to be a long-duration snow event, but it could still cause travel problems on Thursday night and Friday morning if accumulating snow does occur. Now, as if the Valentine's Day storm was not enough, we have 2 additional winter storm systems that are going to impact the northern tier of the United States next week. The first of these systems is going to move through the northern plains and the upper Midwest over the weekend and into early next week. This system is going to bring snow to areas from Montana and the Dakotas into Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Snowfall totals from this system are still uncertain, but right now it looks like we could see 6 to 12 inches across parts of the northern plains and the upper Midwest, with some locally higher amounts possible in areas that see the heaviest snow bands. The second winter storm system is going to follow right behind the first one, moving through the same general areas around the middle of next week. This second system could be even more significant than the first one, depending on how it develops. Right now, some of the models are showing the potential for a major winter storm affecting the Great Lakes and possibly extending into the Northeast around Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. It is too early to say exactly where the heaviest snow is going to fall or how much we are going to see, but this is definitely something that everyone in the northern tier needs to be aware of and monitor closely over the next few days. For the West Coast, we have an atmospheric river event that is going to impact the Pacific Northwest and Northern California starting Tuesday and continuing into Wednesday. This is going to bring very heavy rainfall to the coastal areas and lower elevations, with rainfall totals possibly reaching 3 to 6 inches in some locations. That kind of rainfall is going to create flooding concerns, especially in areas near rivers and in areas that have poor drainage. For the mountains, this atmospheric river is going to bring heavy snow to the Cascades and the Sierra Nevada. Snowfall totals over the next few days could reach 2 to 4 feet in the higher elevations, with some locations possibly seeing even more than that. But the atmospheric river is not going to be the end of the story for the West Coast. Behind that system, we have another winter storm that is going to move in later in the week, possibly around Friday or Saturday. This second system could bring another round of heavy mountain snow to the Cascades, the Sierra Nevada, and the Rockies. It is still too early to say exactly how much snow we are going to see from that system, but the overall pattern suggests that the West is going to remain very active through the end of the week and into the following weekend. What ties all of this together is the overall weather pattern. The jet stream is in a very amplified configuration right now, with a deep trough over the western United States and a strong ridge over the eastern Pacific. This pattern is funneling Pacific moisture into the west coast, and it is creating a very active storm track across the central and eastern United States. This is the kind of pattern that produces multiple significant weather events in rapid succession, and that is exactly what we are seeing. The Valentine's Day storm, the 2 winter storms next week, and the atmospheric river on the West Coast are all products of this same overall pattern. For everyone watching this forecast, the key message is this: we are entering a very active and impactful period of weather that is going to affect a large portion of the country over the next 7 to 10 days. If you live in the South, you need to be prepared for severe weather and tornadoes. If you live in the central states, you need to be prepared for heavy rainfall and flooding. If you live in the Ohio Valley or the Northeast, you need to be monitoring the forecast for potential winter weather. If you live in the northern plains, the Midwest, or the Great Lakes, you need to be prepared for multiple rounds of winter weather next week. And if you live on the West Coast, you need to be prepared for heavy rain and mountain snow. This is a pattern that is going to keep all of us very busy, and it is going to require everyone to stay informed and be ready to adjust plans as conditions change. Thank you for watching, and I will continue to provide updates as all of these systems develop over the coming days.